Israel, an Israel trip gives people a safe place to connect to mitzvahs and experiment, right? They're not away from there, they're away from everybody else. They can try on, they go to Jeff Seidel, tzitzis, or they putting on a kippah, or they're trying obviously Shabbat, stock, and brachas. Just curious, how many mitzvahs, we're going to just try it right now, in 2 minutes, how many more mitzvahs could they be doing? These are sort of like classic mitzvahs they could be doing on the trip. What other mitzvahs, the Tariq mitzvahs, could they be learning about or experiencing while they're in Egypt? Not necessarily having to do, but they could be learning about. Just show them the broad swath of how Yiddishkeit's right there living in Eretz Yisrael. Shatnez, Shemitah, Kim Kosher, Ma'akeh, seeing railings on the shoes, Keter Iska, Ribbis, going to a bank, show them how. What else? Mikvah. What's that? Yishuv Eretz Yisrael.
Hitchhiking.
What's that? Trumas Aveda, Trumas and Maestras. You go to the market, Trumas and Maestras. What else? What's that? Milchemes Mitzvah. Milchemes Mitzvah. Mikvah is mentioned. What else?
Medical ethics.
Medical ethics. Availus.
Depending on the time of year, Tanyas.
Atinus. Good. What else? Brachos, Peyah, Mai,
I want to say, I know this mentioned, the Kalav Rebbe told me once, focus on prayer. He said it's not focused on enough, focus on prayer.
Right. Okay, good. Run all the different types of prayer. Good. There's more. Probably, I'm sorry, we're gonna wrap it up in just a moment. But the idea is like this. Chances are that there are probably 50 different mitzvahs, at least, that you could introduce someone to throughout your trip, just casually. But the idea is that they're just seeing it again and again. Some they'll be able to experience, some they'll just be learning about, but it's all around them. But I remember I used to live on the Upper West Side, and people, once somebody came from one of our students said, the West Side is like an invisible shtetl. Like you just don't know what's there until your eyes are open. It's the same thing. Eretz Yisrael can be invisible also to the naked eye in terms of what's really there, unless you point it out. So there are probably, and we're going to collect, I think we could probably hit 100 different mitzvahs that could be brought up just if it's in your mind, then you can be used, so much more of your time can be, I'm just moving for this. These are different mitzvahs. Chesed, now listening to Lashon Hora, Simchas Chassan Kala, listening to a friend. All right. We're not going to go through Shabbos right now, although it's obviously worthy of it. But clearly, what happens on Shabbos can be really a taste of Olam Haba. The exercise that we had, we'll have to maybe another time. We just keep in mind is these are really the 4 different areas to make the experience extremely rich on Shabbos. We want to see how, if you had to just take one of these, how would you maximize and deal with the whole Davening thing? What would you do in your meals? Well, we'll be following up and getting your ideas. But just the great thing is, yeah, that was my slow. It's a taste of Olam Haba.
I feel like a monkey throughout.
It's right, not necessarily monkey, maybe. Okay, so here's in a nutshell the framework. 1, your goal as a rabbi is to establish yourself as a student's rabbi mentor and spiritual guide for life. 2, you want to foster an incredible sense of belonging to the group, of course to the Jewish people beyond that. Belief, you want to show them how deep and meaningful Judaism is at every part of their life. 4, you want to give them a compelling vision and understanding the yeshiva experience. If it happens on your trip, then what goes back on campus wherever you are, you've really just grease the wheels and really change someone's future. You want to encourage them to try to connect as many mitzvahs as possible, and of course you want to create a Shabbos experience that gives them a taste of the world to come. Do all that, and the great thing is, and the possibilities to accomplish these goals are endless. right? There's no end to where you can get any of these 6 things done. From the time you're at the airport to the time you say goodbye, really, with the more in tune, the more aware, the more you have in your pocket, and the more that it's at your fingertips, so that you're reaching into the student by the way you talk to them, or you're sharing the stories because you know the stories, that you don't have to double think. All those things together will give framework. All these things together will propel you, and hopefully most importantly the student, to walk out of that trip realizing that he has to take ownership, because what you've shown them is just so compelling that it doesn't make sense to do otherwise. So we're going to conclude with the
Both surrounded by Arabs.
what's that?
It said surrounded by Arabs.
Right, you could, in a situation where you're surrounded by Arabs, you could talk about Ashkafa Pratis, you could talk about Tefillah, you could talk about lots of things.
You could create that.
Start to pray. Start to pray.
Anyway, we're going to conclude, but this is the idea. Just as the goal is to take all these ideas, be following up with you as well, just because there are more ideas which will percolate over the time, and then we're going to collect and put them all together for all the great ways to make your trip to Israel exceptionally powerful, so that your students will treat you like, will feel like you're the rabbi and all those things, and they will, and they'll take ownership. I want to thank the rabbis in Israel who took part in developing the framework, and the rabbis here who got together here in Lakewood to go over their framework. Now we're going to talk.
Okay, so I'm going to share something with you that not a lot of people know about me. I'm actually a very shy person, and I'm very nervous right now. So I'm going to deflect and ask everyone to do more push-ups, just so that it takes the spotlight off of me. In all seriousness, there are 2 things I want to talk about. One is I'd like to ask everybody to please take out their schedule right now, and not while I'm talking, but right after I finish talking, to spend 1 minute, or even while I'm talking, to spend 1 minute thinking about, is there anything here, because some people are going to be leaving soon. So